Hey friends! Today's video is going to be the second edition of my Makeup Archives series that I'm turning into a series because this is the second one and I have at least one more planned, so hello! The last one of these videos I talked strictly about kind of higher end makeup, stuff like Urban Decay, MAC, stuff that you would find at Sephora, mainly because that was what was easiest to find archives of on Temptalia. Honestly, Temptalia is the best resource for this stuff, so seriously, if you ever want a deep dive about old makeup, Temptalia is where it's at. So today, I asked for y'all's ideas and I dug into some old blogs, I dug into some old videos from past times. I searched for like favorites of 2010 and I got so many 360p quality iPhone webcam type videos from like Blair Fowler, It's Judy Time, Purse Buzz, X-Sparkage, all this old stuff. It was a trip. It was a trip for sure. Trip down memory lane. I will admit I don't use a lot of drugstore stuff anymore because I found that a lot of drugstore products weren't always the best for my skin, and I landed at like Bare Minerals foundation a long time ago and I kind of stuck to it. So I don't use a ton of drugstore stuff. I do like drugstore eyeliners, drugstore mascaras. I literally just use the Essence Lash Princess mascara. That's the only mascara that I like, honestly, lately. So I do still use some drugstore products. I just don't use a lot of them the way that I used to. So I gathered up some images here, and even the images themselves, like looking at like the branding and the marketing and the celebrities that they used to do it. Oh my God, such a trip. And actually some of the products that I will be talking about still exist, but they just were first launched back in like 2010, 2011, 2012. I didn't find exact dates. So this is just old stuff, old drugstore products. Yeah, let's just talk about some old products that I remember very distinctly being a lot of people's favorites, or things that were just really bad that I remember from those times.
So let's go.
First, I have a product that two different brands came out with iterations of, and that is those weird one swipe eyeshadow trios that came with a sponge tip applicator. So L'Oreal came out with the Studio Secrets one sweep eyeshadow that was literally 3 eyeshadows in one pan, which is a huge pet peeve of mine, that came with a sponge tip applicator. And the images that they had, it was like you put the entire sponge in the eyeshadow and then just slap it across your eye. Blending didn't exist back then. Who blended? Blending? We don't know her. This was a thing that brands sold, and I think they might still do. I don't know why, because I don't feel like people do that much anymore, but I do distinctly remember these L'Oreal ones. And then Almay also had them, and I'm pretty sure Almay still does, because Almay is very behind the times when it comes to new makeup. I mean, sorry, not sorry, what the hell is Almay doing? Nothing? Okay. Having the worst shade ranges of any complexion products in the drugstore. They have the Shimmer Eye Kit, Intense Eye Color. How is that intense? That's not intense. No, not intense. Not intense in the slightest. The fact that they had little eyelashes, is there eyelashes there? Something about eyeshadows from the drugstore for a very long time, they kind of focused on things that were like flattering for different eye colors. So this green one is Shimmer Eye for hazel eyes. So if you have hazel eyes, you need to wear green eyeshadow. Or if you have blue eyes, you need to wear like a warm brown eyeshadow. Or if you have brown eyes, you need to wear purple eyeshadow. It was very much like, if you have this eye color, this is the best eyeshadow for you. There was not a lot of like, just do whatever you want. It was like, this is what you need to do for what's best for your eye color. It was just funny that like makeup brands used to use this as a form of marketing where it's like,
You have brown eyes? Here's this purple eyeshadow for you. You have hazel eyes? Here's some green eyeshadow.
Nowadays, everybody's just like, do whatever the hell you want. Doesn't matter what eye color you have, just like wear what you want. I'm wearing like red eyeliner and like a blue to purple multichrome on my eye. And I have green eyes. So funny. So absolutely funny. Now, two products that I very distinctly remember from early YouTube days. One was the Maybelline Color Tattoo, and this was basically the drugstore dupe for MAC paint pots. Honestly, they were very good. I don't know, do they still have them in the drugstore? I haven't looked lately. I'm not sure. When I found these images and when I found the links, there was a lot of stuff on Amazon, which is a lot of like makeup that really doesn't exist anymore. They have a lot of like old shit. So like, I recommend don't buy makeup on Amazon just in general, but the Maybelline color tattoos, the fact that they the fact that they like marketed them as 24-hour, so many brands, Maybelline and L'Oreal had everything as like 24-hour, that it would last for that long. Nobody wears eye makeup for 24 hours for a good reason. Like if you're wearing makeup for 24 hours, you're not in a good place. Like you're not having a good time. It's not a choice that you're like, well, I'm gonna put this eyeshadow on, take it off in a day. Like 12 hours I could understand, but 24 always was funny to me. I'm like, nobody's wearing eyeshadow for 24 hours. But the color tattoos were actually very good. I had a couple of them and they worked really well as eyeshadow bases. They worked really well as just like standalone cream eyeshadows. They dried down. They did not crease at all. Even if you don't like cream products like me, I still like cream eyeshadows. Like I still like the idea of just like being able to swipe things over my eyes and be done. And these were so easy to use with a brush or with your finger, and it was just fantastic. I definitely remember these, and I owned 2 of them, I think. And then the other 24-hour product, we had the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour high intensity pigments. These were like very pure pigments from what I remember. They didn't have a lot of like excess like ingredients in it. It wasn't a lot of like filler stuff. So it was very much like you dipped your finger or you dipped your brush and all you got was pigment. It had like a silicone-y kind of texture where it was almost like a wet pigment, but it wasn't wet. It was creamy. These were kind of in all different shades, kind of like jewel tones, neutral tones. They were very easy. They came out around the same time that Urban Decay had the Naked palette, and a lot of people were kind of like doing dupes for these. Like dupe videos were like peak 2011 makeup YouTube. It was just like, you have the Naked palette, I have a dupe for that eyeshadow and that eyeshadow and that eyeshadow. Dupe videos were like an entire genre of makeup video. Now, a product I very distinctly remember being absolute trash were these cream eyeshadow quads from Revlon, and they were straight up garbage because they never dried down. They would crease like crazy. They were like putting colorful Vaseline on your eyes, and that's pretty much what it was, because it never dried and it was just uncomfortable. It never worked that well. The color stories they had were very basic. It was very bland, but it was 2011 when I think I remember these. This was a product for a very long time. If they still have it, I don't know why. Because this is and was a bad product. It was bad. Who's buying this? I don't know who's buying this. Why? Because I tried to use it as like an eyeshadow base and it still was like sticky and weird and stuff still creased. It was like, what's in this? Petroleum jelly. At least that's what it felt like. Next, the NYC Sunny Smooth Skin Bronzer. This was straight up orange bronzer. The images they had for the branding for this are hilarious, because this is the kind of bronzer that you see now. You're like,
wow, this looks bad because it's orange.
But this was like the bronzer of early YouTube and like early makeup. There weren't a lot of bronzers in the drugstore. I think Neutrogena had some bronzers, and like Revlon maybe had a couple, but like this NYC Smooth Skin Bronzer in Sunny was the bronzer that everyone tried. It was like in all the favorites videos. If you were searching for drugstore bronzer, it was this bronzer and nothing else. Oh my god, NYC, like the image, oh my god, it's so 2011. The eyebrow and the shimmery brow highlight and the orange bronzer. I love it. I love it. Next is a product that very much still exists and I very much still own. I bought it a few years ago, so it's not the same one that I had from back in the day. The NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk is still a very good product. It's a creamy pencil that's thicker than like an eyeliner, so it's a crayon that you can use as an eyeshadow base. You can just use it as an eyeliner if you want. I don't think it works really well as an eyeliner. It's not the most transfer proof. It's not the most long lasting, but if you do want something as like a base for very bright eyeshadow, this was like what you bought. Like if you were doing neons, if you were doing brights, you bought the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. It was like milk, black bean was the black one, and then cottage cheese was the shimmery white. Why they gave it that name, I'm not sure. It's kind of gross. The NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk was, enough people said that phrase that it just rolls off the tongue so easily for me now still. NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. Like that's it, how everybody said it. It wasn't like the Milk Jumbo Eye Pencil from NYX. It's the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. That's it. Like I said, I still have it. It's decent for if you're doing like graphic look or more like kind of costume makeup and you want to kind of map out where you're gonna go with your colors, it's good for that because it is very easily blended away if you're kind of like just mapping out what you're doing. And it's very inexpensive. Like, it's very cheap. The packaging is trash because the lid breaks all the time. But, you know, again, it was like $4 or something. That eye pencil. Ooh, next. Oh my God, the Dream Matte Mousse from Maybelline. Why was this a foundation texture that people wanted? I literally don't understand. This was like a whipped cream. I don't want to say a whipped cream because it looked more curdled than it did whipped, but there was the Dream Matte Mousse and then the L'Oreal Magic Smooth Soufflé that were very similar. Looking at images of the actual foundations and swatches, I'm like, oh my God, why did we like this? Oh my God, like it was so thick and like gross looking on the skin and like textured. I don't know why people liked it and why this was a thing and why this was like the standard of like foundation. It was like the it was like the True Match, L'Oreal True Match, the Dream Matte Mousse, and then like Revlon Color Stay foundations were like the drugstore foundations and nothing else. And then Neutrogena had a healthy skin foundation as well. But the Magic Soufflé and the Dream Matte Mousse were absolutely disgusting. Formula was so gross looking. I mean, it looks like a mousse that you would eat but not put on your face. Like, why?
Oh.
It's just gross. And the packaging is so peak 2010. Oh my God, it's so bad. Ugh. And I know they don't carry the L'Oreal Magic Smooth or the Dream Matte Mousse, I think. If they do, they need to get arrested because that's a crime against makeup, honestly. That shouldn't exist anymore. We have come so far with foundation technology. That doesn't need to exist. Let's stop it. Get some help. Next was the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Liquid Lip Product. This was the first time I ever tried a liquid lipstick that was supposedly transfer proof. This, they had like celebrity themed colors. There was like Kylie Minogue and Beyonce, and I don't remember anybody else specifically. It came in like this weird little like double tube thing where one half of it, you would take it out and there was the doe foot applicator to put it on. And then the other half was like a lip balm that was very specifically formulated with this product to keep your lips from getting dry and buttholey. This was like the first time I'd ever seen anything like that before, ever. I think Makeup Forever came out with something like this similar a couple years later, but L'Oreal was the first time, like this lipstick, it doesn't exist anymore, but this lip product was the first of its kind from what I remember in the drugstore. I bought it, like I bought one and it worked, but it was just so tedious. Like I'm putting it on and then I have to like reapply. Like you could only use that lip balm or else another lip balm you had would just smear it away. We came so far with liquid lipstick technology, again, like the foundation technology. There's still a lot of liquid lipsticks that make your lips look like buttholes, but this was definitely the first of it. Looking at the component is just straight up taking me back to college. Oh my God. Oh my God, taking me back to college to the fucking Coastal Scents 88 palette. I had this palette. This was the first eyeshadow palette I probably ever owned. It was in so many people's like collections back in the day. You had people like Purse Buzz, you had Michelle Phan, you had Promise Fawn, all these folks who were doing these interesting looks, sometimes not so interesting looks, but they would use this palette. And this palette was like the palette of YouTube for a very long time at the very beginning of it because it had every color that you needed. And it was just all in one be all end all thing. It was like $20 for it. It was very inexpensive. The shadows themselves were not good. So now that we've looked at it, it's like, oh, well, I mean, they're fine, but it was a time. It was a time when this was like colorful eyeshadows. Like this was colorful eyeshadows for people. Ben Nye was also a big moment in early YouTube makeup world. It's just a trip.
Next.
Oh, the Maybelline Baby Lips. The Maybelline Baby Lips. I had so many people mention this in the comments because it's such a time. Do they still exist? I don't know if they still exist. Everybody was obsessed with these when it first came out. It was in everybody's favorites video. People were treating it like it was a freaking revolution. It was like a lip balm, but it was colorful sometimes And the baby lips, I think they had scents. I don't actually think I ever owned one, but the way that they marketed these was so smart because it was just a lip balm. Like, it was a fucking lip balm. But the fact that they called it like baby lips and they gave it all these like cute names and the colors were cute. They were bright colors in the packaging. It was very much peeking into the makeup goblin of 2011. Not so much now, I think, but baby lips was an institution. Like, looking back and like everybody loved these fucking baby lips. It's like, it's just a lip balm. Like, it's a lip balm. I mean, I don't know. Were they good lip balms? I didn't have one. I didn't have them. I feel like these and like the EOS lip balms were like, I mean, EOS I feel like was brainwashing because they were cute and they were terrible lip balms.
Yes, Baby Lips was an awesome lip.
Okay, I wasn't sure, but EOS was bad. The little dome guys.
I didn't mind that one, but Baby Lips,
Okay,
it was not long lasting.
but it felt good when you put it on. Next, God, Maybelline is everywhere on this. Maybelline was queen of new products and weird, innovative products. The Maybelline Dream Bouncy Blush. Libby, did you ever have the Dream Bouncy Blush?
It was the blush version of the Dream Matte Mousse, right?
No, it was this guy. No, it was like the little squishy ball. It was like a dome squishy thing. But you had the Dream Matte Mousse.
I had the Dream Matte Mousse.
And it was garbage.
Yes. The problem was that I really fell in love with the texture of a mousse foundation, though. Because
Right, but it was
on so nice.
But it was so thick.
My pores liked that. I hated it, but it liked it.
Yeah, this Dream Bouncy Blush. This was, I feel like, a similar kind of texture to like the ColourPop Super Shock thing where it was like kind of a cream, but not a cream. It was just like a squishy paste type thing. It was like solid, but like you could squish it, and it was technically something that you would probably like putting on with your hands, with your fingers. I found a review of it from It's Judy Time, like way back in the day, and it looked pretty. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it looked pretty. The product itself, like, it looked like it was buildable and not like too intensely pigmented. But yeah, this was like their new invention of like, we're gonna make a bouncy blush. Like, okay, like, I don't know why people feel like they need to reinvent the wheel when it comes to blush. It's like, does it stay on your face? Okay, like, does it blend easily? Is it splotchy? If it's not splotchy, if it blends good, if it's pigmented enough and it doesn't fade away, it's a good blush. Like, oh my god, next. Oh my god, next. Oh my god, oh my god. Wet n Wild, oh my god. Wet n Wild, back in the day, was, like I said, really the only brand that had, like, palettes. Like, a lot of palettes. They had their 8-pan, like the Comfort Zone palette was it. Comfort Zone was it. Everybody had the Comfort Zone palette. I had the Comfort Zone palette for many years, and I finally decluttered it like 2 years ago. It was very disgusting at that point because the packaging is cheap as hell, and all the shades in it were shimmery. But they also had these other like 6-pans and quads. Yeah, this was a 6-pan. They had of like one side was mattes and one side was shimmery, not super shimmery, but I had this one, I can't remember what it was called, but it was, I'll put a picture of it up on the screen. It was neutrals, and that was like, again, everybody had it. Compact, easy to use, pretty, neutral, and you know, it was something that worked for a lot of people because it was neutral, and I very distinctly remember buying that and just loving it. Wet n Wild still come out with stuff, but I feel like a lot of their stuff they're coming out with is like not always just like staples that people just like, and I haven't bought any new Wet n Wild stuff in a couple of years, so I don't know what they're coming out with lately, but I do remember back in the day they were it. Almay's coming back. Almay, they've tried to do things that are innovative over the years, but they've always failed. They had like the jelly highlighter a couple of years ago trying to like dupe Farsali for some reason. That went great. Fun story. So back in the day before I found Bare Minerals, I went through lots of foundations. I had the Physicians Formula Mineral Powder. That one worked for me fine. They didn't have like a shade really light enough for me because their shade range back then, and still is, terrible. I bought the Revlon Color Stay in the dry skin formula. That shit did not go anywhere. Like, it dried down fast. It did not look great on my skin. I bought it. It broke me out naturally. And it was at that point that I thought I had acne prone skin and that I thought I just was like, okay, well, I need to get something that's like skin clearing. And Almay had a skin clearing foundation that had salicylic acid in it. That also didn't work for me, and I also broke out from it. That was when I found out that I'm allergic to avobenzone, which is a sunscreen in many foundations. So I stopped using chemical sunscreens and my skin cleared up. You know, besides the skin clearing foundation that they had, which was trash, they also had this Smart Shade anti-aging makeup that apparently was supposed to like blend itself into your skin, that it was like, it was white and had these like little pigment balls in it that would like kind of, you would blend it into your skin and then they would release pigment that would somehow like balance to your skin. It never worked great, but it always seemed like a very lazy thing in my perspective, that Almay's like, well, we don't want to come out with a bunch of shade ranges, so we're just going to come out with like a few, and then we'll make it so that like apparently it's supposed to like adapt to your skin tone. That doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work. Like with lipsticks and blushes, stuff that's like pH activated, that's one thing. But when it comes to like a foundation, your skin chemistry does not automatically turn a product into something that's going to blend in perfectly with your skin. Absolutely not. Almay did this with foundation and with concealer, and I bought the concealer. I didn't buy the foundation, but it was bad. So I have beef with Almay from 9 years ago. Next, oh my God, I had this product, the Rimmel Stay Matte Press Powder. I think this still exists, and they had the Stay Matte Foundation, Stay Matte, I think they have the Stay Matte Concealer too, but this press powder was, again, in a lot of people's favorites. It was Rimmel, and then CoverGirl had like the press powders that you would buy in the drugstore. But the Stay Matte one got really, really popular on YouTube, and I remember because a lot of people bought it. I bought it because of other people. They had a translucent shade, they had a light shade and a medium shade, and that was probably it, knowing drugstore brands back in the day. I will say drugstore brands, really the only brand that had like a semi-inclusive like shade range as far as like foundations was the L'Oreal True Match. Like that was pretty much it. Like I don't remember any other brand having a foundation range that went dark enough for anybody past medium skin tone, let alone deep skin tone. This Stay Matte press powder, I mean, I bought it and I used it for some reason. Like I used it to set my makeup, and then I discovered loose powder. I'm like, oh, this is so much better. Oh my God, Hard Candy. Hard Candy, holy crap. So Hard Candy is a brand that, if you don't know, they, I believe, are still only carried in Walmart, and they are well known for their like camouflage concealer. They have some nail polishes. They have a lot of products. I can probably count on like two hands the number of times I've stepped into a Walmart in my life. Wait, no, scratch that. When I lived in college, we didn't have Target, but we had Walmart. But very few times have I gone into Walmart because we never really had one where I grew up, and we don't have them in Seattle. So I really have only been able to try Hard Candy things twice in my life. And from what I've tried, I did like. They had the Tiki Baked Bronzer, which was literally just a dupe for MAC Soft and Gentle highlighter. It's way too light to be a bronzer on any human being except like a porcelain doll. Like, why was this called a bronzer? I remember a lot of people's videos, they're like, a dupe for MAC Soft and Gentle was Hard Candy Tiki bronzer, because I remember I was like, why are you like duping it with a bronzer? And then I looked at the pictures, I was like, oh, this isn't a bronzer, this is a highlighter. This was also a time when bronzers from the drugstore were almost always shimmery, so that, honestly, that NYC Sunny bronzer was like one of a few. Everything else was Shimmer City for bronzer, because for some reason people thought that bronzers needed to be
glowy as fuck.
Why, I don't know. A lot of people use this as a dupe for MAC Soft and Gentle if they didn't want to buy from MAC, if they didn't want to spend the money, because the mineralized skin finishes were actually quite expensive from MAC because you get a lot of product, like so much product from the MSFs. Oh my God, the fact that I just like deep recesses of my brain, the MSF, Soft and Gentle, MSF, what? That's funny. One thing that I didn't actually like save in my phone, but I remembered back from when I first was trying makeup, like even before I started doing makeup YouTube, before I started watching YouTube, one product that is probably pre-2010, it's probably like 2006, was the I think it was L'Oreal, Hip eyeshadow duos. They were these eyeshadow pans that were kind of split down the middle, and one side was generally like a brighter shade and one side was slightly less bright. I know I had two of them. One was like teal and yellow, and then another one was a blue and a brown. I will say the blue and brown, now that I think of it, very pretty. Back in the day, you did not have people blending out like 7 different shades on your eyes. Just the way that people did eye makeup back in the day is different the way that people do it now. So you didn't always have that many shades in a product. Those Hip duos were definitely a moment from my adolescence, and I had 2 of them. The green and the yellow was just weird. Yeah, so that's everything I wanted to talk about in today's video. I will definitely be doing more of these. Don't you worry, I have one very special one planned for Vlogmas, so get excited for that. If I come up with more things maybe before then, I'll do another one next month before Vlogmas. But I really like this series. I really like doing this. I think it's really fun. I think it's just kind of like, I don't know, like it's fun to look back at old makeup and see kind of like how much it's changed and how much makeup YouTube as a community has changed, because it is so different than it used to be. I just realized that my microphone died. I'm not sure when it did, but I apologize for the audio quality for the outro for this video. Today's song of the day is Instant History from Biffy Clyro, because I was listening to that a lot the last couple of days. But yeah, Instant History from Biffy Clyro. It's from their newest record that I believe came out just a couple of months ago, which will definitely be on my favorite records of 2020, because I'm getting that list together and I am excited. That will also be part of Vlogmas, so if you would like to hear my favorite music, definitely check out the Song of the Day playlist that I have in the description of all of my videos. Definitely check out links in my description to all kinds of stuff. Link to register to vote, super important. We're getting to the deadline for a lot of places, so seriously, register to vote. Oh my god, it's so important. Like, it's so important. Links to everything that's on my face will be down in the description, as well as my jewelry, and links to also my Instagram, my Twitch, my Twitter. I'm streaming on Twitch Wednesdays and Saturdays right now. I just started playing Phasmophobia. If you like spooky ghost hunting stuff, definitely check out my Twitch, because I really am into that game because I love ghost hunting. Thanks so much to my patrons. As always, I appreciate y'all so very much. Seriously, so much. My next video, I'm going to be ranking my Halloween costumes via tier list. I am stealing an idea from Sarah Hawkinson. So that will be next video, and an anti-haul next week. So get excited for that. Yeah. So I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I will see you all on Friday. Bye!